All right, so we got to see Hawkeye number 3, episode 3. I think so. I didn't make this criticism last video, but I felt it. To me, the show Hawkeye was pretty light on Hawkeye. Even the opening credits, they have Kate, who's also Hawkeye. I know that, and this is passing of the torch, and it feels like maybe Clint won't be in the MCU going forward, or if he is, he's significantly lesser role. But that be what it is. I did kind of think that we didn't have much in the way of Kate, or I meant in the way of Clint on the show in the first 2 episodes. And maybe it's just me being a little bit whiny, but also even the opening credits, it was all about her and how good she is. This episode was more of him being a dad, him like reaching out, and I like that. Also, here's kind of personal stuff here. I like this episode because first we have, I think this is the first Native American in the MCU. I think I can't recall for sure. I got to go back and read some of those Echo comics, but I think in the comics she's Cheyenne. Zahn is an amazing actor. He's if you haven't had the opportunity, that's her dad there. If you don't have the opportunity to see him in other shows, he's in Westworld. He's in Reservation Dogs. He's in Dr. Sleep, which I'm also a big Stephen King fan. Dr. Sleep is a great book. It's a pretty good movie as well. Underrated, actually. Somehow folks missed it. It was pretty good. It actually bridged the book series and the movie series, the Stanley Kubrick series. So I like him. I'm Native American. And so I like having Native Americans represented in the MCU. I'm also sort of on the Clint Barton scale right now on hearing loss. I've lost most of my hearing and will slowly but surely lose all of it. I did like this scene, this episode. So this is the deaf episode that I mentioned in the comic books. It was all mostly in sign language or written, and that's what happened in this. And they use it for humor a little bit, but this happens to me quite often where I'm talking and folks are like, I just said that. So it was really interesting to see that from another perspective, from another person's perspective, where I only see it from my own. I liked all of the trick arrows. You know how he told her he didn't have any, and then he kind of showed her how to use some of the ones he had. I liked that the car chase scene was basically ripped straight out of the pages of the comic book. I like the fight with Echo. In the comics, she's an amazing fighter. She isn't missing a leg in the comics, but apparently she is here. I like that didn't slow her down. I like that she did great with that. She even kind of let him know that, hey, your hearing aid is kind of for kind of good or bad. It's sort of a crutch for you. You would probably do better if you didn't use it. And I thought that was interesting because, sometimes I find myself in work meetings and that kind of thing where people say things, or I do read lips, and so it augments. I'm not great at it. I don't think anybody can be perfect at that, but it augments my hearing. So and I've never taken a class or anything like that, but so I catch things that people are saying under their breath, thinking that they said it kind of out loud. And oftentimes at meetings, I'm listening harder, and so I'm catching things that other people aren't. And so she's right. There are times where that's the case, at least for me. So it was almost like this episode was written for me. So I liked this episode. Like I said, it's got Native Americans, it's got hearing loss. What's there not to like? Man, I don't know. There were some pretty good things. I think I've seen it once. I think I'm gonna have to go back and see it again. There were some pretty good things that I think were happening in the background that probably are world building. Definitely, So the other parts there. I've seen people. I've actually had people call and talk to me about the Young Avengers that I keep talking about, and they're asking, "Hey, is this a thing, or you're just making that up?" In the comics, Kate is one of the leaders of the Young Avengers, and so unlike Eli, which they kind of introduced him and then disappeared. Eli is another one of the leaders. I would say the two of them are the top dogs in this. It's kind of like the well, I don't know. Iron Lad might be. I don't know. Whatever. So, so where it feels like Hawkeye and the Avengers is kind of a third wheel, Kate isn't. She is a integral part of the team. And definitely this is setting her up to lead the team more than Eli. Eli was kind of a background character. If you almost a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. So I do think that she's going to be very important going forward, and I think that also they are setting up the Young Avengers. I do think at the end of this we will see more information. I haven't looked at the my tracker list, but definitely I think that was 11.5 or something like this. That this was one of those quarter ones where I said I think there'll be a deaf episode. This is that deaf episode. Maybe we will get the dog episode. So the dog episode was very interesting. The comic book. The deaf comic book was, hey, this is the point of view from a person who can't hear, and so you miss things that are going on in the background, but you catch things that people who can hear are missing. And definitely that happened, where because he had hearing loss, even Kate mentions it a couple of times, they're communicating better. And so like I catch myself catching things that are moving because I can't hear them, that other people just kind of miss. Now the flip side of that is I also miss a lot of things because I can't hear them. So and that happened to Clint, and that happened to Echo. So it was interesting. And you can see this mentorship start where Kate's asking questions. Hey, how did you do that? How did you get out of your duct tape handcuffs? And then why do you have the stupid suction cup? Or I think she called it a plunger. I don't know. Either way, arrow. And then when they used it, she's like, "Oh, that's why." So all of these things that. I think the next episode they'll be rebuilding their arsenal, getting more arrows, that kind of thing. Man, did you think it was pretty amazing that that grow arrow that he shot, that pin particle arrow? That was pretty cool stuff. I almost wish, instead of straight up and down, I almost wish he would have had her aim it directly at him and then grew it almost at the same time. So hey, don't shoot as fast. Shoot half speed and then knock them all off the thing. But it was very interesting. I thought that was pretty amazing. Use of a grow arrow. I wonder how long it stays there. I think in Ant-Man they stay for a while, then they shrink back down. So all right, guys. So what did you think? Kind of comment down there in the bottom. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.